Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn Eicher.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What's up?
And this is episode 114, baby.
114,
Hey,
baby.
and my dog Zelda's barking. Hey.
Zelda's barking, which is a great time for me to tell you about how to follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Pickup WNBA podcast, Twitter, YouTube, soon to be Blue Sky, Instagram.
Every week that makes me laugh.
And we will be watching the Maya Moore doc ASAP.
One day. ASAP. AKA one day.
AKA
not
one day.
ASAP at all.
Yeah. And we want to thank the folks that are, continue to fill out our survey. We are doing a survey for ACAST, and it's a way for us to get to know, and ACAST to get to know our listeners. So, we can level up. That's the term we were using last week, and I'm standing by it. So we can level up and be more profesh as a podcast pretty soon. First of all, we want to get Zelda and Mike. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. We really want to make sure that we are absolutely geared up and pro.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for filling out the survey. We'll make sure to attach it on our YouTube and Insta and everything.
You know what's crazy? It's like all day this girl sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to do a podcast and she just decides to lose her mind.
She's activated.
So, yeah, she's activated. She's stimulated. She's confused. She's invigorated. So we're going to see how this goes. But, oh my God, I apologize, everyone. I'm doing my sincere best. It's just we've had, so much snow here. She doesn't get enough exercise outside, so she's more irritable inside now, and it's a whole thing.
Cathryn is a puppy mom, so this is the deal, folks. She's working hard. I also want to shout out. We got some fun feedback from our listeners about Pat Summit in Nashville. So we got some,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we had a pardon me. We had a lot of Nashville. My voice is just trash right now. We had a lot of Nashville conversation and feedback. I'm going to Nashville in a month, and
that's right. Yes.
Anyways, Pat Summit. Shout out Pat Summit.
I love. Okay, so
Basketball
basically,
legend.
yeah, the comment was that they could name the team after Pat Summit. And I think the Nashville Summits is a great name for a team.
Huge name.
Like, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So thank you for that suggestion. That was so cool. And that single-handedly made me change my mind
wasn't
about
the
Nashville.
only Pat Summit comment, though.
No, there were multiple. Yeah.
So,
but yes, but we found out this week that Cleveland is actually the lucky city. Cleveland is lucky number 16. So congratulations to Cleveland. I personally didn't see it coming, but it does make a lot of sense. I mean, they've got a strong basketball scene there. Mm-hmm. There's lots of good reasons. I just thought, I feel Cleveland is not close, but close-ish proximity to Chicago as far as the WNBA goes, and teams and cities, and maybe picking something that wasn't so nearby something else. But I could be wrong. I didn't Google map this, in terms of how much of a drive that is.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is it closer to Indiana? I mean, it's but I know you mean it's not in its own region like Kansas.
Yeah, and I believe we also got another comment about Iowa. Could Iowa get a team? And I thought that was super interesting, and I would love that. But now with Ohio having a team and Cleveland, I don't know if Iowa will now get one anytime soon. But that was also a really smart suggestion.
Well, yeah, I thought that was
also close to Indiana based on my other points, but regardless.
I thought what was interesting about the Iowa comment was that they, it's college, right? But they have for sure proven that they can get out gigantic basketball audiences.
Huge.
Now, in this comment, they did talk about bringing Caitlin back to Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
which to me, your whole franchise can't depend on a singular player being there.
Right.
I mean, and also, you just need more than that. And Caitlin Clark is like a one of one person, right? So there has to be more than that. But the people of Iowa have clearly, they were a part of that as well, right? So they showed up for a player. I want to say the Rockers, the Cleveland Rockers, which used to exist in the W.
They're the team that's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to keep the name Rockers. I kind of hope they do. It's a good one.
Yeah, it makes sense with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there.
Yeah. I did want to say too, though, that just as far as the upward trajectory of the W, check this out, Cathryn. So when the Valkyries and now the Tempo were initially in the running for franchises 13 and 14, the price tag was $50 million.
Right.
Absolutely hated media tycoon in Toronto and Canada, Ed Rogers, shut this down. Right, it's too expensive, and we've spent some airtime just ripping that to shreds. So we're not alone. Fast forward later, the Tempo ended up buying, or the Toronto group ended up buying the Tempo with Larry Tenenbaum and Kilmer Sports for $115 million. So that's how much it grew, 150 to 115 million. A little bit later, Portland comes in. They get into the W for 125 million. Now, last week we talked about how many.
Wait, Cleveland cost 125 million?
No. Check this out. Cleveland cost 250 million. Yeah. So if we're wondering how they got the team, that's how they bought the team. So all these ownership groups we were talking about last week, with like just these major powerhouse, like W legends, NBA legends, big cities, like, and this has even pushed the conversation where Engelbert hinted at there being like with this amount of popularity, like a potential for a 17th and an 18th team. Now, that was just like a throwaway comment, but the fact that it was essentially like a feeding frenzy to get this 16th team.
That's crazy.
People see where the W is going, and you don't want to expand too fast, but yeah, the price tag went from $50 million to $250 million
in like a year.
In essentially a year. So the money is there, and
not even, because we were at the press conference for the Toronto team in May of last year. Although that deal might have been done prior to the media release, but still, like, this has a media release. So in we're talking like 9 to 10 months this happened.
Yeah. Just astonishing. Astonishing money that the W is bringing in, and
sorry everyone watching on YouTube.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're getting the full Zelda show. She's falling all over the table. Zelda's like, the Rockers? Why don't I walk around and she seems like she's enjoying being held. Aw. Hey, she's Zelda.
Cute. She's just chewing everything she sees because she's teething right now.
Yeah.
Puppy teething. But anyway, yeah, I mean, here, I'm trying to give her this so she's chewing on it. She doesn't want it. She wants forbidden items to chew. But yeah, I think I'm shocked that it got as high as 200 million. But think about what this is going to do in terms of just bringing money into the league and and what this is going to do to the CBA next year. I mean, I'm pretty sure like a year ago, we were still talking about chartered flights.
I know, right?
Exactly. Like that is crazy growth.
As a perspective thing, that's exactly. We were still talking about chartered flights and just sort of like a more basic respect to the league. now this big deal has come. Everyone's signing 1-year contracts. Like, holy shit, this is really, really. It's not just happening; it's happening fast.
Yeah.
Like the growth is like really in an exponential phase.
Yeah.
And I think that there's no real plateau in sight.
Mm-hmm.
Even from a zeitgeist perspective, I feel like there's still a lot more room to grow.
I think there's probably going to be like we talked a little bit about this last week, but like a bit of a mini plateau, right? In terms of like, let's right, like you got like, let's settle here for a few years, right? Like, let's just like get this all established and then continue to grow. So, I mean, look, I don't know enough about business to know whether it makes sense for them to announce, a 17th and 18th team right away, or if it's like, no, let's just keep it right here, see how we do, get all these teams to grow, because some franchises are growing faster than others, right? So that's another thing they have to keep in mind. But then maybe by, let's say, 2030, we're at a place where it's like, okay, now we can expand to 20 teams or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I also don't know the full business part of it, but just also from like a female sports perspective, I think roster sizes is one of the next big things, right? They have to be bigger, but
right.
How cool is it that in my mind I've had this number, or we've had this number rather, of the WNBA is 144 players, right? Like even, the commissioner, other people will refer to the league, the population of the league, as like the 144.
What's interesting about the roster size thing? Sorry, if you don't mind me interjecting for a second, is is the fact that like all the players have been advocating for it, and we agree, but it's more about like giving other players a chance to play in the W. It has nothing to do with profit, right? Like, think about it. It's like they're not going to necessarily make more money if they expand the roster sizes from 12 to 15 per team. So I wonder how much they're actually going to prioritize it. And I think it might be a huge part of the CBA negotiations.
Yes.
Possibly. I'm not sure. But I feel like that could be something that comes up more and more later this year. Because it feels like it's something that the other players are going to have to like advocate for, as opposed to like it just being like a given.
No, I think that's a bang on point, and a lot of these other things are. It's like plus for players, plus for league, right? Expansion is just good for everybody because it means huge amount of money coming into the league, more players coming into the league. Like, imagine if you were a player that, like how many W players, like what percentage of players that get drafted play in the W, right? It's like, off the top of my head, it's got to be.
Oh, versus how many actually stay in the league or get to be in the league.
Yeah, it's got to be like 20% or something, like something really small of drafted players stay and play in the league. So that percentage with this expansion, you'd have to assume is going to go up to 30 or 40. It's really big. That's a lot.
We would hope, yeah.
That's a lot of athletes' dreams not dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
Well, also too, it's like, or just not going international, right? Like, that's the other part of this. Yeah. What are you chewing on now? All right. She's okay. She's driving me crazy, but she's okay. I have to keep an eye on her, Yeah. But
I was watching her.
Oh my God. And now I'm dropping things. Guys, it's just, I'm telling you, she's really sweet, except for when I'm recording a podcast. Like, it's insane.
She wants to be a part of it.
All right. Anyway.
Let us know in the comments if you want us to, if we should like crowdsource design for a Pat Summit Zelda jersey. Because I'll make Cathryn put it on her.
You know what would be so cool though is if we did make a Nashville Summit design.
We should, as an apology.
an apology / homage.
Yeah, / homage.
Right? Like, I think that would be really cool. An apology homage, but also really cool jersey. I have no idea how we would design this, but we could figure this out. We could do this. Everyone has merch these days. Everyone has merch these days, you know? So
yeah.
I could do something with the dog and basketball.
Our merch would just be like the most inside joke. And then I think if our merch, you know what, this has got to be an FFQ later, but you know.
Yes, it does.
Like, just off the top of my head, our merch, like our merch, I think my favorite version of it would be like hire us Engelbert.
Oh yeah,
right.
That has to be it. On the truck.
Pick us up.
You know what? Like, it could also be like, instead of like just married, it's like hire us Engelbert, and we've got strings of basketballs.
We're so hanging
off the side, and we're both looking back and waving.
It's funny that we met her.
Come on, that's good. That's
cool,
good.
And it was a nice interaction. But at no point could we be like, hey,
you should hire us as consultants.
We've been doing a running joke about you for 2 solid years. And we want you to hire us. And we can't really even say for what, just like random ideas.
No, creative consultants.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's a better way to say random ideas.
Correct. This is why you would hire a team, because you do have random ideas, but I know how to say creative consultants.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Should we move on to our other topic?
Let's move on.
So Unrivaled had huge success with their one-on-one tournament. Shout out to Nafisa Collier. Congratulations.
And to you for calling it.
Thank you. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I did predict Nafisa Collier would win, but I also feel like, am I that accomplished for thinking Nafisa Collier would win? Like, I don't know if it's like that big of a brag for picking her. You know what I mean? But I did pick her early on. But I don't know if it's like that big of a brag. It's not like I picked, Aaliyah Edwards or Canadian. You know, it's not like I predicted that. Like, that would be crazy.
I mean, yeah, sure. She's got to be a favorite. However, even still, when it's like, when there's that much talent and that much kind of like possibility in a tournament, I think it is still hard to predict like the winner with that far out. So give yourself some credit.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. But Freddie, you've got some ratings numbers you can potentially
I got some stats.
Share with us. Thank you.
Yeah. So, the too long ago read here, Unrivaled did well. It did really well. And I think for a league that was this ambitious and this player run, really, really, this is unheard of.
So, Freddie, I believe you have some info on ratings for us.
Yes. So the too long don't read version of this is that Unrivaled was a success. It went well. And, I think it was a pioneering idea, right?
Absolutely, it was. Yeah.
It was a player-run league. And, in
a completely different format.
Yeah, that we've seen before with like Ice Cube's league and stuff, like this 3-on-3 league, but this really worked and the players really bought in. And I think the one-on-one tournament was the ultimate example of the type of, I know, it's always the WNBA versus the NBA, and it's like it's not the best framing, right? But I think one thing that the WNBA you really see a lot of in the W that you don't see, you basically don't see it anywhere else. But because it's basketball, we say the NBA. But it is player buy-in for stuff like this. Like, this is just inconceivable, like how hard the players went, and yes, they didn't get Asia. Yes, they didn't get, Caitlin Clark, but they got everybody for this tournament. And
Yeah.
I can give you the numbers for the ratings, but it essentially did well. Like, averaged 300,000 viewers for the first two games, and then it peaked at 365,000. This is a first time league, right? And just for our American listeners, like, we didn't get this, right? So this doesn't even include not the
international,
Canada, not that the 51st state is that big of a place, but like, we are.
We got it on like some other subscription service.
Yeah, there was like a roundabout,
but it was like ridiculous. Yeah,
but all that to say is, like, you couldn't really. It was hard to see, and so the semifinals and finals of the one-on-one tournament averaged almost 400,000 viewers. So that's like
huge.
That's pretty intense. But yeah, that sort of sums that up. It was just a really big success. You got to imagine it's going to happen next year and be even better. And yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Next we have, we just want, now that free agency is officially wrapped, still a few things going on. We've got the Marina Mabrey situation happening right now where she's demanded a trade, but it hasn't happened as of this recording. Her agent released a statement about it this week. So like, basically, I mean, paraphrasing, like, why would you keep a player that doesn't want to be there?
The agent statement was nuts.
Yeah, but it's like, who's to say they haven't been trying? Like, I don't know. But aside from all of that, we wanted to sort of ask ourselves, like, who do we think won free agency?
Yeah, and last time we talked about free agency, we were sort of covering the just mayhem of it all. And the dust has really settled. And this is the time before the draft where we get to say, like, have a more serious outlook of who won and who lost free agency. There's a good article on CBS Sports by Jack Maloney. Pardon me. So yeah, Cathryn, do you have a winner or a loser, or do you want me to start with a winner or loser?
I've got a winner.
Okay, who's your winner?
I think, this might be a bit of a biased pick, but I think my winner is the Phoenix Mercury. I think out of all the teams, they're the ones who leveled up the most, even though they lost Brittany Griner, which still shocks me a bit. But I still feel like out of, you know what I mean? Like, from where they were to where they are now, they definitely had the biggest improvement talent-wise. Like, I think, like, with the Aces are still going to be great. I think it was a bit more of a lateral move, if you will, to essentially replace Kelsey Plum with Jewel Lloyd. The Sparks have gotten better with Kelsey Plum, but they're not going to be like, I predict that they'll win a few more games, but it's not going to be like a huge difference. Like, maybe they'll be in the first round is maybe kind of what my early outlook is for the Sparks. I know we've got some Sparks fans who listen to this pod, but yeah, I would say they're my winners. And my losers, I feel, are, I've got some sort of a tie in my mind, Freddie, maybe you can help me decide, between Dallas and Atlanta. Because I feel like those two teams probably didn't do enough to level up, even though, like, Atlanta got Brittany.
Atlanta, I would disagree with. Like I don't think Atlanta really like blew up, but I think the addition of
Brittany, they did get better. Yeah.
I think Atlanta,
maybe Dallas. I'm not sure.
Dallas, to me, isn't even on this list of losers, which is odd because I really think they are pretty big losers.
Right.
Dallas, I'm all the way in on. On this list, the Las Vegas Aces are losers, which I get, but I don't think it's all the way fair because I think getting Jewel Lloyd and getting Dana Evans, Tiffany Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
And it's
like, what article are you referring to?
This is CBS Sports by Jack Maloney.
Okay. Oh, right. Sorry, you did say that.
Yeah,
My bad.
free agency winners and losers.
My bad.
But the highlighted team is the team I think is the major winner, and that's the Fever. Because for me, I thought the Fever were going to do.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that they got Dewana Bonner.
So they got Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson, Sophie Cunningham, and Natasha Howard.
Right.
And they lost Fag Bentley, which is a big loss. Katie Lou Samuelson, Melissa Smith, Erica Wheeler. So like they lost some notables. But they also retained Kelsey Mitchell. They cored Kelsey Mitchell. So to me, the combination of all those things is like this to me is really the team that is going to take like where they were, and I feel like I'm overusing this expression now, but they're going to level up.
No, I think that's fair.
I think that I don't see a way in which the Fever do not have a better season than they had last year, and they finished really strong. But the way that they started the year by what was it like 1-9 something like that's over.
I'm with you.
Clark learning curve thing, like she's gonna start the year strong. Like if I'm a Fever fan, I'm really, really excited. Like I'm gonna be like I'm seriously thinking about home court, and I feel like maybe that doesn't happen, but they're big winners here.
No, you've convinced me that Indiana is going to be better, but I feel like the thing that intrigues me now is the fact that the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx, for the most part, stayed pat.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're still the best teams, right? Like, would you not say that they're still the 100%. Best 1 and 2? 100%. With the Aces being a very close third, like very, very close third, right? And then that fourth spot feels really like, I feel like, yes, the Fever could take that. I think the Mercury could take that. I think there's a lot of people like Seattle could take that. Like there's a lot of different teams that I think could get that spot. I mean, and we're obviously saying this assuming like there's no major injuries and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams compete with those top two. I think it's interesting that the best teams in the league were the ones who made the least adjustments, right? Like,
yeah, they're so stacked too that they're fine.
Yeah. And I'm sticking with my Nafisa Collier is going to be the MVP this year. I just feel it.
I like it.
Thank you. Not that I'm a psychic. I'm not like, you know what I mean? I didn't like bust out the tarot cards or anything. I'm just saying.
I don't know who my MVP is because I feel like
it's too early.
Has to be.
It's too early, and I'm too bold.
Stewie or Asia, and like I guess I'm gonna say Asia, but I'll think of a spicier pick.
No, I think it's Fee.
So okay, for losers, I think one of the more obvious takes, but I kind of don't think they are losers, is the Sun. So the Sun,
right?
The dynasty's fully over, but also it's kind of like they're.
Can you call them a dynasty?
No, that's not true. But yeah, like, not a dynasty, but like
that era.
Really awesome, this really awesome era. But at the same time, they still have some good players, and ultimately they have a good culture, and I feel like they are strong. And as far as like a time to pivot, they're picking a good time to pivot and get a good draft pick and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Stephanie White leaving to coach the Fever is like an added blow, I will say. But
right,
my loser team, not on this list, either, is I think it's going to be the Valkyrie, because they got a bunch of vets, and I just thought they were going to. I think it's an important. I'm sort of. This is going to be my opinion for Toronto as well, and Portland, but I think
Cleveland.
It's important to make a bit of a splash, because I think if you come into the league, like, no one expects you to be good right away. That's not fair. But if you're coming in the league and you're just like, you're not like there's nothing sort of enticing about your team. Like you need to sort of go after like a big name player, or like have someone who fans can invest in their growth, you know?
Well, I see where you're coming from, and this does have a bit of Toronto Raptors bias to it because we were, fans of the early franchise, and the early franchise was rough going until we drafted. Well, we didn't draft, we traded for Vince Carter on draft day.
Yeah.
But it was like
It was rough
one
for
of
a while.
yeah, and it took much longer, much longer to establish any sort of a winning culture here as well. And if it wasn't for, the few years we had Vince, it arguably the team wouldn't have survived in this city. So I think that's sort of the perspective that you're coming from in terms of like, I feel like back then it was like, let's have a 5-year plan for trying to build a team, but we're like, no, things happen fast. Like things should happen faster than that. And it's like you wanted to establish not like you're going to win a championship off the bat, but just like a winning vibe, if you will, early on. Otherwise it takes a really long time to shake that off.
And you're right to call it my perspective. This is my forever perspective.
Well, it's all our perspectives. That's
what the name for it.
It is
Insecure Torontonian.
No, but that's like, but regardless of that, I mean, that's what podcasting, that's what all of this is. This is our perspective.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Poetic.
Fun question time.
Fun question. FFQ. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here's my FFQ for the day. I'm loading it up because I want to make sure I read it right. So I didn't say this, but Cathryn did sort of talk about the snow. All this snow is like, so Toronto got like a wild amount of snow. I know our American listeners, like,
even for us, yeah,
it's measured in like inches and like we do centimeters, whatever. So just know this, it's like many feet.
It's like 3 feet of snow.
Right. And then there was this huge snow, and then there was like another amount of snow that was sort of like icy and like wet. And me and my partner, we live in this like townhouse, and it's like a flat roof, and I didn't know any of this even mattered until right now. But we have like these like massive icicles, and water started leaking into like our like electrical room, and then it's like
oh god
over, like, our walkway, and it's like our neighbor. It's like dangerous. It's really fucked up. It's after this podcast, I'm gonna go like try to chisel ice.
Damn.
And pour salt. It's insane. Anyways, if you live in a warm place, shout out to you. But all that to say, it made me think like, okay, there's a feeling of being trapped. And Cathryn, if you got trapped in like in a winter cabin, where you had to be like holed up, what WNBA personality would you most like to be trapped with, and why?
This is a really dark answer, but it's because I've been watching the show Yellow Jackets.
I love that.
My answer is Caitlin Clark, because people would be the most invested in saving us.
Wow.
If it's Caitlin, we're gonna get saved.
You would just turn on the white privilege hard. You'd be like, listen,
we're getting saved. Taylor Swift will save us. You know what I mean?
How dare you? But that's actually the best answer.
Sorry.
No, 1,000%. If you got trapped with Caitlin Clark, you're getting rescued ASAP.
Yeah, I don't have to ration the food if I'm with Caitlin.
That's way better than my answer. And it's both funny and like you nailed it.
We don't even know what your answer is yet.
It's a good one, but it's not Caitlin Clark good.
Is it Courtney Williams?
No, I think she'd kick my ass.
Is it Stephanie Dolson?
It's not Stephanie Dolson. Like Stephanie Dolson, like I think could help me move some heavy things.
Yeah.
But I need more than that. I need a motivator. So I went coach here.
Oh, wow.
Recently fired, but she was a coach in the Unrivaled. I'm going Teresa Weatherspoon.
Oh, I love Teresa.
Because honestly, somebody stop us. She'd be giving me, like, if I couldn't light a fire, she'd give me a speech. She'd be like, let me tell you about the time that my neighbor...
I think the speech will be quick, and it'll be like, light that effing fire.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And like, she wouldn't take, like being trapped would be like not acceptable.
Yeah.
So I think
that's true. You would fight and claw your way out of there with her.
Yeah, she'd motivate me, and I would not need to motivate her.
No, you're very much the beta in that scenario.
Yeah, but by the time we had rescued ourselves out, and like survived, like, because Yellow Jackets, I think it's sort of like the movie, or the real life event as well, like Alive, right? Where they it's a plane crash and they have to eat people because cannibalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Teresa would be like eating like human remains, and you and Caitlin would be like at a chalet already. You know what I mean? We'd be in the mountains somewhere being like, where's the nearest city? And you guys would be like on Insta.
We should be like, we should probably look for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just, after I post about it, after I post, the GoFundMe, the petition or whatever, reminding people, hashtag Freddie and Weatherspoon.
Fredderspoon.
But you guys would make it out.
We'd make it out for sure. And we'd be tougher for it.
Yeah, I don't know if you and I together make it out.
We die fast. I'm really confused. You get anxious. It's like we'd realize that we weren't even like the people who found us would be like, oh my God, they weren't even trapped. They never tried the door.
The door was open the whole time.
They just saw some frost on the window and panicked.
Oh my God. That's just factual.
Freddie just kept stuttering and had a heart attack, and
and then Cathryn just got sad and passed out.
Yeah, Cathryn got sad and just slowly went to sleep.
Oh man, that's too real. Fun question, Freddie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, I feel like we're getting a lot of juicy stuff these days. So if you have a fun question, hit us with it. Yeah, and good times.
Yes, definitely. Thank you everyone again for listening and tuning in. Appreciate you all. Remember to like and subscribe. I hope puppy Zelda didn't get on your nerves at all, or anything like that. She's finally a bit more calm now, of course. But thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace,
bye.
Everybody.
Say bye, Zelda.
Bye, Zelda.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.